Weaponized podcast. My name is Ideal and I'm your host. Today's topic is the USSR and the creation of the Palestinian myth. The story of the Palestinian identity, as we know it today, has roots that are far more modern than most people realize, and the Soviet Union played a crucial role in shaping and propagating this myth during the Cold War. Let's step back to the aftermath of World War II. The Holocaust left millions of Jews displaced and seeking refuge. Many of them set their sights on their historical homeland, then part of the British Mandate of Palestine. The creation of Israel in 1948 was both a triumph for the Jewish people and a flashpoint for conflict with neighboring Arab states. As the Arab-Israeli conflict unfolded, the Soviet Union saw an opportunity. Initially, the USSR supported the establishment of Israel, believing it could become a socialist ally in the Middle East. However, once it became clear that Israel aligned itself with the West, Moscow shifted its strategy. It began supporting Arab nations and critically creating a narrative that would weaponize Palestinian identity against Israel. For centuries, the term Palestinian had referred broadly to the people living in the geographical region of Palestine, Jews, Christians, Muslims alike. There was no distinct Palestinian Arab national identity. This changed dramatically in the mid-20th century, largely due to the Soviet influence. In the 1960s, the USSR recognized the potential of transforming the Arab-Israeli conflict into a struggle for so-called liberation. By reframing the Arab opposition to Israel as a Palestinian liberation movement, the Soviets sought to rally global sympathy. This was part of the larger strategy to undermine Western allies in the region. According to Ion Mihai Pasepa, a former Romanian intelligence officer who defected to the West, the KGB, the Soviet Union's infamous intelligence agency, was instrumental in crafting the narrative of Palestinian victimhood. The KGB worked closely with Yasser Arafat, the leader of the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, to shape the movement's rhetoric and objectives. Under the Soviet guidance, Arafat adopted the language of anti-colonialism and liberation, portraying Israel not as a legitimate state, but as a Western imperialist outpost. This reframing of the conflict gained traction in the developing world and among leftist movements in Europe and the United States. In 1974, the United Nations granted the PLO observer status, a significant diplomatic victory orchestrated with the Soviet backing. Arafat was invited to address the UN General Assembly, where he delivered his famous speech holding an olive branch in one hand and a gun in the other. This moment cemented the image of the PLO as a representative of an oppressed people seeking liberation. The USSR also played a key role in recurring UN resolutions that delegitimized Israel. For instance, Resolution 3379, passed in 1975, declared that Zionism is a form of racism and racial discrimination, a narrative heavily pushed by Soviet propaganda. Although the resolution was eventually revoked in 1991, its impact lingers in anti-Israel rhetoric to this day. It's important to understand that the creation of a distinct Palestinian identity was not organic. It was a deliberate political strategy. Before the 1960s, Arab leaders themselves did not emphasize a separate Palestinian national identity. For example, in 1937, Aouni Bey Abdul Hadi, an Arab leader, told the British Peel Commission, "There is no such country as Palestine. Palestine is a term the Zionists invented." Similarly, King Abdullah I of Jordan dismissed the notion of a Palestinian identity, stating that the land was part of southern Syria. The USSR's effort to promote the Palestinian cause were not about supporting self-determination. They were about advancing Soviet interests in the Middle East. By turning the Palestinians into a symbol of resistance, the Soviets could rally Arab nations, isolate Israel, and weaken Western influence in the region. The narratives crafted by the USSR continue to shape global perceptions of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The idea of Israel as an occupying colonial power and the Palestinians as a dispossessed indigenous people owes much to the Soviet disinformation campaigns. While the Cold War is over, these myths have been perpetuated by modern media, academia, and international organizations. The Soviet Union's role in creating and amplifying the Palestinian myth serves as a reminder of how geopolitics can manipulate history. By understanding the origins of these narratives, we can better navigate the complexities of the Middle East today. Thank you for listening to Middle East in less than 5 minutes. Follow the podcast to stay updated with new episodes, and don't forget to check out our social media for more insights into Middle Eastern affairs. Until next time, Shalom.